Hello, I'm called Tim, and it's around noon, so that means it's time for my hangout. I'm actually a few minutes late, and if you've been watching this hangout, you know that I usually come in early or late, but I'll get it right. Um, there's a lot of technical difficulties, as I explained in yesterday's hangout. It's very hot, and when it's very hot or it's very wet where I am, the lines get overheated or either get soggy, and the internet access gets strange. Today I'm going to talk about black people and polygamy. Um, I hate to keep harping on these issues with just my ethnic group, but my ethnic group is the most confused ethnic group in the world, and so therefore sometimes I have to give them some enlightenment and also to give you other groups some enlightenment on what we're thinking. Because I see you when you look at us, and I see the question in your eyes, what's wrong with them? And today we're going to talk about black people and polygamy. Now, polygamy just means you are married to more than one person, and usually it's done with a man who has more than one wife. Black people support polygamy and they don't even know it. And I'll show you how. Marriage, and this is where it gets very confusing. Marriage is a bond between a man and a woman. In some cultures, if you have sex with a woman, you're automatically married. In some states in the United States, if you spend the night with a woman, she can consider you can be common law married. It's an old law and old tradition. Try to keep people from just running around. In South Carolina, about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, this was the case. If you spent the night, you were married. I had a girlfriend down there, and I would never spend the night. I would stay late and always come back home. And we would laugh about it. I would say, well, I'm not ready to marry you yet, so I'm not going to lay with my shoes under your bed or some silly thing like that. And we would laugh about it. But these laws were actually enacted and actually enforced because marriage is the bond. And marriage is not the certificate. When you get a marriage license, that is the state recognition of a bond between you and that particular woman. That's not the bond, just the recognition. So men are going around, black men, and sleeping with multiple black women. They're creating multiple bonds, right? Sometimes they have children. That's another bond. That's another marriage. I have a child with that one. I'm married to her. I have a child with the other one. I'm married to her. 3 children, 3 mothers. I'm married to all 3. And if you don't believe you're married to all 3, talk to a man who has a child by different women and see that he's dealing with the stresses of each individual woman, whether he's with them or not. That's what he's doing. And so we as a community support it. Now, let me stop to say this. Black men will continue to do this because eligible black men outnumber eligible black women like 15-1. And now some black women are starting to date outside the ethnic group, but there's not enough men out there that's going to take you. And there's not enough white men that are going to take you. I know you're watching Scandal, and I know you're watching, what else is it? Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, and all these shows and movies where black women are having these successful marriages, and it happens. It happens in real life. But it's not enough to take up the slack for you women. And to be honest with you, a lot of white men are not going to be attracted to black women. The white man, black woman thing is another issue, and I'll deal with that maybe in another hangout. So men are going to continue to do this. Now, if it were just men doing this, I would say, well, it's just men taking advantage of something. But the community supports it because every woman in the man's life supports him. When a woman's brother is sleeping with different women, committing this form of polygamy, she supports it. She said, my brother, he spends time with all of his children. Or my brother takes care of all of his children. He makes sure he does the child support. She's supporting the polygamy. His mother, by supporting it, is supporting the polygamy. And all women support all black men who do this. All the women in their lives, they support it. So you actually support polygamy, black people, but you don't know you're doing it because you don't study, you don't understand concepts. And so that's how you are the only ethnic group that are doing things actively and do not even realize you're doing it. And that's why other ethnic groups look at you and say, what is wrong with you people? Not that polygamy is good or bad. If you're going to support it actively, embrace it, and do it properly. But because you're doing things you don't know you're doing, it always comes out improperly. Okay? Children scattered, women at each other's throats, men pulled apart. Bad enough, black men are pulled apart by the war that they're fighting with society. But then you're pulling them apart instead of all coming together and being organized in some way. And to black women's credit, they are starting to become a little more organized with this. They are starting to realize that, okay, there's no reason to fight in this situation. This is what it is. It's polygamy. Maybe they don't call it that, but they say, look, he's the father of all our children, and sometimes the mothers will get together. They usually gang up on the father and do him in, but at least that's more organized than everybody being spread out and not wanting to admit that it is what it is, polygamy. So that's how the black people in the U.S. support polygamy as a behavior and don't even know it. And I hope I put some clarity on it. And I promise you, I will get to deeper concepts, literature, movies, and things of that sort in future hangouts. But some of these issues that come up, I just have to address them because they're on my mind. I have to get them out. If any of my viewers or anyone in the chat room want to speak, speak now or forever hold your peace. Going once, going twice. Okay. Hit the GoFundMe button to support this hangout, or just come and meet me at noon. I'm usually here on Google Plus. If you are sane, keep your head up. It's not you that's the problem, it's everyone else.